You might be an investor trying to find the next hot stock for your portfolio, or maybe you're a short-term trader looking for that hot stock that can make big moves in a short amount of time. Well, it's a daunting task to find the right stocks to trade, to find those stocks that can beat the market, but it doesn't have to be. I've got a simple approach that you can use to beat the market. And it all starts with what I call the 3 C's for picking winning stocks. Now, the 3 C's are a simple way to find the best stocks and avoid the worst. The beauty of it is anyone can evaluate a stock in just 10 seconds. That's right, you can find and analyze the best stocks in just seconds using this approach. Now, I'm going to show you why this method works for most investors. You don't have to be an expert in finance. There's no complex financial terminology. You just have to use these simple 3 concepts to separate the good stocks from the bad. Now, we're going to use NVDA and Intel to highlight the power of the 3 C's. You see, both of these stocks are in the same sector, but they've had dramatically different performance this year. NVIDIA's done great and Intel not so great. Using the 3 C's keeps you out of Intel and makes you focus on NVIDIA, and I'll show you how to do that. Now, before we take a look at NVIDIA and Intel and what was good or bad about each of those stocks, I want to give you a little lesson on the types of analysis that people do. The most common is fundamental analysis. And it's really the one that makes the most sense to people because it's all about looking at the company's business, their management, their earnings, those sorts of things. And like I say, it makes sense to most people because we feel like we should buy stocks that have good businesses. You know, if I wanted to buy a technology company, I might be inclined to buy shares in Apple because I carry their phone, I use their computer, and I see millions of other people doing the same. It makes sense that that would be a good stock to buy because I see how successful they are. The problem with that approach is that information about the company's ability to make money is essential to predicting where that stock is going to go. So I'll say that again. Information is essential. In order to do good analysis, we have to have the best information. And the problem is most investors are using publicly available information to make decisions. Now you might wonder, why is that a bad thing? Well, think about it this way. If a company announces that their earnings are $3 a share and the market was expecting earnings of $2 a share, so the market had an expectation of $2, it got $3 when the company announced their earnings. Sounds like a pretty good bit of news, right? And what will happen in that situation is the stock will jump up in price to reflect that good news. On the other hand, let's say you have a drug company that's trying to develop a cure for colon cancer. And they announce that they've done trials, and in testing, they have found that their drug is quite effective for the treatment of colon cancer. Now, because that is a cancer that's so widespread, you would expect that such a treatment would be worth billions of dollars. And announcing that will cause the stock to go up. Common sense, right? Except that as soon as it's announced, the stock's price, whether it's better than expected earnings or a new treatment for colon cancer, the stock price is going to jump to reflect that news. And here's the problem. When information is made public, it is priced into the stock almost immediately. And therefore, if you use public information after it has already been announced, it's kind of too late because it's already been priced in. Now, yes, it's interesting. Yes, you can maybe impress people at parties with the knowledge that you have about a company, but it has no value in the analysis of the stock. So we need a better way. Again, public information is priced into the stock. If you want to be successful, you have to learn that private information is what moves stock price. And here's the thing, some people have better information than others. I've been saying for many, many years that the stock market is not fair. Some people get better information than others. Now, who are they? Well, there's people that are close to the company. There's experts in an industry. There are the large institutional investors that have considerable resources to dig up and research and do good fundamental analysis that most of us could not do. This all requires expertise. You see, in order to take information and figure out what the public information will be in the future, you need to take the information you have available today and apply a great deal of expertise and maybe a little bit of a preference in terms of how you get information. That's where you can deliver value and make good stock picks. So the point I'm trying to make in all of this is that using fundamental analysis isn't really appropriate for most investors. Not because most investors shouldn't think about what a company does or if it's good company or bad, but simply because most investors are only accessing publicly available information, and that's already priced in. Now, if you are an expert in the oil and gas industry, yeah, maybe you can predict which oil companies will do the best because you know what's going on in that industry. You have an advantage. Maybe you have a friend who is an oncologist involved in a drug trial for that new cancer cure. Well, then maybe you have an advantage because you have access to better information than others. What we're going to see in a moment is that there are millions of people that have access to all the information that's out there. And when some of them find information that is not yet priced into the stock, in other words, it's information that is not widely known, they're going to go act in the market. They're going to leave footprints, and that's what I'm going to teach you how to follow. Now, we're going to do this with the 3 C's approach. Essentially, we're going to follow what people are doing with their money, not what they are saying. We're going to utilize the analysis of millions of investors who have the very best information and expertise. There are 3 important questions that we want to think about. Just before we get into the 3 C's, let's go through these important questions. First, who is in control? Are investors confident? And is there a surprise catalyst? Those are our 3 C's: control, confident, and catalyst. Now you're probably wondering, what do these things mean? Well, let's start with control. Consider stocks when the buyers are in control and avoid when the sellers are in control. Now, what does it mean, buyers in control, sellers in control? I want you to think about the stock market as a war between buyers and sellers. The buyers buy because they think the stock is going to go up. The sellers sell because they think the stock is going to go down. Now, if the buyers are in control, if you look at the chart, you will see rising bottoms on the chart. In other words, I'm going to show you this on a chart in just a moment, but every time there's a pullback in price, it'll make a low that is higher than the previous low. Rising bottoms, buyers in control. Falling tops, sellers in control. It also helps to use the sentiment stock score. I created this at Stockscores.com as a free indicator that you can use to determine who's in control, buyers or sellers. Look for the stocks that have a sentiment stock score of 60 or better. But you can also just look at a chart. And let's take a look at the chart of NVIDIA now. And I'm going to begin by defining what we call inflection points. So anywhere there is a peak or a valley, we are going to call that an inflection point. So I've identified all the valleys. Now let's do the peaks. So anywhere there's a little point, a little top, that's a peak. And anywhere there's a valley, that's a bottom. When the bottoms are rising, the buyers are in control. When the tops are falling, the sellers are in control. Buyers in control, sellers in control. That's important because I want you to think about the stock market like a river. If you put a canoe on a river and you try to paddle against the current, you're going to go a lot slower. It's going to be a lot harder than if you paddled with the current. So what way is the current going? Look at a chart, very simple. Start with inflection points. And if they're rising from left to right, the buyers are in control. You can be a buyer as well. If the tops are falling, the sellers are in control. It's going to be like paddling your canoe up a river. You don't want to be a buyer when the sellers are in control. Now also look at the stock score line down at the bottom. When the buyers are in control here, the stock scores are above 60. When the sellers are in control over here, notice that the scores drop below 60. Now let's do the same thing with the chart of Intel. We'll begin by defining the inflection points. And here we have some inflection point lows. There we have rising bottoms. The stock was moving up. The stock scores were above 60. It was a good time to be an owner of those shares because they were moving up. But then it switched to the sellers in control. And notice how the stock scores fell below 60. And it was a great time to stay out of the stock because it was grinding its way lower. All right, let's look at our second C, confident. When buyers and sellers are confident, the amount of price movement diminishes over time. What do I mean by confident? Well, remember the buyers and sellers are at war in the market. And if the buyers are winning the war, price is moving up. If the sellers are winning the war, price is moving down. Well, when the buyers and sellers are at peace, it means that the buyers and sellers really agree, they have consensus on what the company is worth, and it generally just trades sideways. It's in a sort of sideways, boring trading range. That is a sign of confidence among the buyers and sellers that the price is correct. The best opportunities come when stocks break from low price volatility. So if we look at a chart, I can draw a line across the bottoms and a line across the tops, and I can see that those lines are compressing toward one another. That is a sign that buyers and sellers have come to some consensus right there about what the company is worth. We can see it over here as well. Line across the tops, line across the bottoms. They're converging towards each other, and over here there's not a lot of volatility. That means there is confidence. We can see it on the Intel chart as well, but to the negative. Here we have line across the tops converging toward a line across the bottoms. That means there's confidence right here. When you break from confidence, you start to see trends. And that takes us to the third C, catalyst. When investors get important new information affecting a company's future, they buy or sell aggressively. This creates abnormal price and volume activity. We want to look for stocks with this surprise volatility from confidence. And as always, easiest to look at the chart. So let's take a look at NVIDIA's chart first. Right here, we see abnormal price gain with abnormal volume from optimism. There was those rising bottoms. From low volatility, the stock went up. Here again, compressing volatility. Right there, low volatility. We have optimism, and we had that break, that abnormal move with abnormal volume, and over the next few months, the stock went up in price. If we look at the Intel chart, it has the opposite. Pessimism, low volatility right here, because these lines are converging toward one another, abnormal price movement to the downside, and down the stock went. So the key then is to think about the three C's. Number one, who's in control? Buyers or sellers? If the buyers are in control, there's rising bottoms. If the sellers are in control, there's falling tops. Second, is there confidence among buyers and sellers? If the stock is in a compressing volatility situation, if the price trend is sideways, that means low volatility, which makes the next thing, the catalyst, the important step. When you get that break, up or down, from low volatility in the direction of the mood, optimism or pessimism, buyers in control, sellers are in control, that then predicts the trend. It's a real simple way to essentially get the millions of investors in the stock market working for you. They are painting the picture that we see in a chart. They're looking at all the fundamental information with all the expertise, with the best information, and telling us what they are doing with their buying and selling. And in doing so, they create these patterns. I built Stockscores.com to help individual investors do better in the stock market, to help you avoid bad stocks and find the good ones. You can get the stock scores for any North American stock. Simply enter the symbol here, click on Get the Stock Scores, and if you'd like my free weekly email with my trading tactics, some of my stock picks, register for my weekly email right there. And if you're not already subscribed to the Stockscores YouTube channel, just click on that subscribe button. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like.